Dockerfile fundamentals. Dockerfiles are used to create custom Docker images. They define the steps required to build an image. Dockerfiles automate environment creation. They are one of the most important Docker concepts. Why Dockerfiles matter? Manual setup is time-consuming. Different environments can cause inconsistencies. Dockerfiles provide repeatable builds. Teams can share the same build process. What is a Dockerfile? A Dockerfile is a text file. It contains instructions for building images. Docker reads instructions from top to bottom. The resulting image can create containers. Dockerfile analogy. Recipe equals Dockerfile. Ingredients equals application files. Cooking process equals Docker build. Finished meal equals Docker image. Benefits of Dockerfiles. Automation. Consistency. Version control. Faster deployments. Easy collaboration. Dockerfile workflow. Create Dockerfile. Run Docker build. Create Docker image. Run Docker container. Deploy application. Dockerfile naming convention. Standard name, Dockerfile. No file extension is required. Docker automatically looks for this file name. Custom names are also possible. Your first Dockerfile. Example. From Ubuntu. Run apt-get update. Run apt-get install Winejinx. Simple instructions create a working image. Dockerfile instructions. Common instructions. From. Run. Copy. Workdir. Expose. CMD. Understanding from. Defines the base image. Usually the first instruction. Every image starts from a foundation. Docker builds on top of this image. From examples. From Ubuntu. From Python 3.12. From Node 20. From Jinx. Choose the image that matches your application. Why base images matter? Provide operating system components. Include runtime environments. Reduce setup complexity. Influence image size and security. Understanding run. Executes commands during image build. Installs software and dependencies. Creates new image layers. Runs only during build time. Run examples. Run apt-get update. Run apt-get install Winejinx. Run dir/app. Run pip install Flask. Common uses of run. Install packages. Update repositories. Configure software. Create directories. Download dependencies. Understanding copy. Copies files into the image. Transfers application code. Includes configuration files. Required for most custom applications. Copy example. Copy app.py. Source, host machine. Destination, Docker image. Files commonly copied. Application source code. Configuration files. Scripts. Templates. Static assets. Understanding WORKDIR. Sets the working directory. Future commands execute from this location. Improves readability. Simplifies file management. Workdir example. Workdir/app. Docker changes into /app. Following commands run from this directory. Paths become easier to manage. Benefits of Workdir. Cleaner Docker files. Consistent paths. Fewer errors. Easier maintenance. Understanding expose. Documents application ports. Indicates intended network access. Helps developers understand services. Does not publish ports automatically. Expose examples. Expose 80. Expose 443. Expose 3000. Expose 5000. Understanding CMD. Defines the default startup command. Executes when the container starts. Keeps applications running. Usually appears near the end of a Docker file. CMD example. CMD, Python, app.py. Starts the application automatically. Executes when the container launches. Why CMD is important. Defines application startup. Prevents containers from exiting immediately. Ensures correct execution behavior. Essential for most containers. Complete Dockerfile example. From Python 3.12. Workdir/app. Copy. Run pip install Flask. Expose 5000. CMD, Python, app.py. How Docker builds images. Reads Dockerfile instructions. Executes commands sequentially. Creates layers. Stores the completed image. Docker build command. Docker build tmyapp. T assigns an image name. Indicates the current directory. Docker reads the Docker file automatically. Build process overview. Step 1. Read Docker file. Step 2. Execute instructions. Step 3. Create layers. Step 4. Build final image. Layer creation during builds. Each instruction may create a layer. Layers improve caching. Existing layers can be reused. Builds become faster. Real-world example. Flask application. Use Python base image. Copy source code. Install dependencies. Expose port. Start application. Dockerfile best practices. Use trusted base images. Keep images small. Organize instructions logically. Use Workdir consistently. Copy only required files. Optimizing Docker files. Minimize unnecessary layers. Remove unused files. Use smaller base images. Cache dependencies efficiently. Common beginner mistakes. Forgetting CMD. Incorrect file paths. Copying unnecessary files. Choosing oversized base images. Dockerfile development workflow. Write Dockerfile. Build image. Test container. Improve Dockerfile. Rebuild image. Key takeaways and lesson summary. Dockerfiles automate image creation. From defines the base image. Run executes build time commands. Copy transfers files into images. Workdir sets the working directory. Expose documents ports. CMD defines startup behavior.